My goal is to just get a high paying job that will satisfy me. But at the end of the day, I don't really care about that job. It was a lot different. Like the big city life, like a lot of people have a goal in mind whenever they're like walking. The mindset of some people there, like they have other intentions besides just talking to you. So I haven't done research before, so I felt like this is a good opportunity to see if I do like research, maybe I would go to grad school. So I shifted towards valuing that networking connection more, because these are the people I will talk to later in life. Ever since high school ended, I don't really care about my grades anymore, really. I wanted to get out there, get out of my comfort zone more.
Welcome back to the Magnus Effect, the podcast where we talk to ambitious college students and understand how they're balancing their ambition with the day-to-day college life. Today, my conversation is with Tyler Lay, a student who wants to study abroad and only needs 3 classes to graduate. Listen as he talks about how he fell in love with archery, the purpose of college, and mistakes you should avoid as a freshman. Please enjoy. Welcome, Tyler. Can you tell me a little bit about your major?
Hello. I am a third year majoring in data science, and yeah, been declared as data science since like as of last year. So yeah, pretty fun.
What got you into this major?
So I first initially came into Berkeley I was intending as physics major. So it was
Physics. Oh my gosh.
It was, yeah. Like after a couple months after coming in, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do physics. So I did the CS pivot, and then I did not meet the GPA cutoff. So
Oh no.
yeah.
What about physics was kind of a turnoff for you?
I felt like I wasn't very, I don't know, I didn't really like the math in it, like because I was majoring in physics because I was interested in the astro part, but I think the actual physics and the math part of it, like I wasn't very good at it, and I was pretty like all right about like doing it all. So I felt like I wouldn't really enjoy it long term, and I always have to go to grad school and like do all that.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did you always have some part of like interest in computer science growing up through like high school or middle school?
Kind of. I mean, I was with like a lot of computers since I was young, so like very familiar with that stuff. I took a computer science class in my junior year of high school, so that kind of like opened up my eyes to like kind of like what CS is and stuff. So I already had some base familiarity, but not like as much as like some people coming in with like years of like coding experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this class. Like, what'd you guys do in it?
I don't know if you know, it's AP Computer Science Principles.
Oh, AP Computer Science
Yeah.
Principles.
So honestly, the actual coding of it wasn't much. It was block based. So it was like, Scratch, like you're just putting blocks together and it makes a code. I mean, it was fun. But I guess it really just taught me like fundamentals of like putting stuff together to create like an output.
Right.
But yeah, I wasn't really thinking about it as CS when I was coming into college, because this was COVID happened like in I don't know, spring of junior year for me. Right. So after that, I became lazy because just like I think COVID made a lot of people lazy, and I was like, I went into like senior year being like just playing games, like not really doing much. So when I picked Astro, that was pretty out of a whim, because I just like, oh, I like Astro, and that seems like a cool major to apply to.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you got lazier like over quarantine. Like looking back, what would you do differently about quarantine? Like what would you want to do?
I feel like I could have probably explored different paths, but like honestly, I think I enjoyed like the little break I had in senior year during quarantine. But I think now, I mean, now like a lot of hindsight, like there's a lot of things I could have done, like more community college classes, or like more like personal development outside of just like school. Right. So maybe developing that computer science skills that could have like helped me succeed here, or maybe developing other interests and hobbies that would, I don't know, kind of like make myself enjoy myself better long term.
Do you not see like a video gaming as like a hobby that has benefited you at all? I mean,
yeah, it. I guess it has. I really not didn't really benefit me. It was just a form of passing the time. It was kind of like enjoyment. in a sense.
Really?
Yeah.
What game were you primarily on?
During that time, I think I was playing a lot of Minecraft and League of Legends.
Minecraft and League of
Yeah,
Legends. That sounds like really fun though.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
mean, I'm sure you spent like really long nights with your friends and like
yeah, yeah.
do you recall like a memory during that time that was like extremely fun and bright for you?
Mm, I feel like just being able to be in constant contact with them really was like the really was like what made it enjoyable because I think I rarely played the games alone in my free time. It was more just because I was like in contact with them, playing with them, that made it more enjoyable.
So, do you ever look back on that moment now as like someone in college? Like, do you ever have the time to play with your friends? Do you ever find like the online world to be a lot more engaging, or do you think that it's much nicer for you to be in person and kind of hang out with people?
Yeah, I think since coming to college, I've shifted to more of like an in-person lifestyle. I like we would play on Discord a lot. We knew each other in high school, so but I think the town I came from like didn't really have much stuff to do outside of like school because I came. It's like a 30,000 population town, so it's like not that populated. There's not many like activities to do. So I think gaming was like one of the main things to do because it's either gaming or I don't know, go eat food. So I think coming here, there's a lot more things to do, and since you're college students too, you can do a lot more in-person activities that are really close by and walkable. So I think I shifted to that type of lifestyle. And I feel like also in college, I felt like I wanted to get out there, get out of my comfort zone more. So I wanted to kind of stop doing games for a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how did you end up channeling that energy? Like, talk to me about some of like the first experiences and
Mm.
first like things you might have tried when you first got into campus.
Yeah. So I think, Berkeley has this thing called Caltopia. So I went there and that's where I discovered the archery club.
What is Caltopia actually?
Oh, Caltopia is like, it's a way for like a bunch of like companies and organizations and then also sports clubs to kind of advertise their club or like their product. And just kind of like a cool thing that a lot of people go for free stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but like I think at the end of the day, a lot of the sports clubs there come there to recruit for their new members.
Really?
Yeah, and so I got flyer there, and so I got a flyer from the archery club, and I ended up going to one of their info session and started going to their practices, and I
Right.
basically joined then.
Are you still a part of the archery club today?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm active as much anymore because I think freshman and sophomore, I was pretty active. Freshman year, I met like my main close freshman group of friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
How were you able to find those friends? I feel like a lot of people, when they come into college, especially me, I had this experience, but when I was coming in, I always had this worry that I wouldn't be able to find like the closest friends or like people that I would be able to connect with, especially on such like a big campus like Berkeley, right? So how would you say you went about like yeah, finding those people?
I think it was just kind of a time based like proximity thing because there was a for archery there's like 4 practices a week, and so me and like 5 other people, we always went to these practices like every day because we had nothing else to do, I guess. And I guess over time, you just like, since you're just hanging out with them like every single day, it becomes more natural for you just to become friends. And yeah, like we would, right after like archery practice, since it's like in the evening, we would, go to Clark Kerr dining halls and just kind of,
What's Clark Kerr Dining Hall?
so the Clark Kerr is like where basically where the archery practices are held. It's like a little camp. It's like a mini campus where housing is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we basically after practice around there, it's the softball field there. We go practice there. We go to the dining hall in that area, and basically eat, and then maybe go to one of our friends had a room there, so we'd go there, hang out, maybe do homework. So we ended up spending like I don't know 5 6 hours like every day
Oh my
with each other.
gosh.
So like yeah, it's a really like proximity type thing. Like just
Proximity
over
type.
time, like you just become more comfortable with each other. You just find out like, oh, you're just hanging out a lot now. So
Were you able to find people that were like the same major as you within either the club or like the dorms like you were mentioning?
yeah. So in terms of actual like my dorming experience, like I feel like I didn't really meet any close people. It was mainly from clubs, but from my archery club, I think archery attracts a lot of like STEM based people.
Really?
Yeah,
Why is that?
I don't think I think it's because like archery is like a very mechanical type of thing, so like it attracts like very like I don't know, yeah, people geared towards that type of experience, and yeah, so I think I met two CS majors and then a bio major, a psych major, actually another data science major. So like, yeah, it was very it was very easy to find people of my like field around there. But yeah, there wasn't many humanities majors people I've met. So I don't know if that's just like because like we're here at Berkeley and there's just more STEM here, but
Right,
yeah.
right. Would you kind of connect on that? You mentioned how archery is very mechanical, and a lot of people find like the love and enjoyment out of it. Like, what do you find the enjoyment out of archery?
I think it's a like a kind of a perfection based sport. So like every action you do is kind of really dependent on you. So uh like you have to adjust for certain things like how much strength they're using or like the way you are releasing the arrow and whatnot. It really like varies a lot if you mess up one little thing. So it's like I think a lot of like people like that kind of like self improvement where you know if you fix this one thing, your shot will get better and be more centered.
I
Yeah.
heard archers like don't know when they release their string or something like that.
Mm.
Like they pull it back and they just unconsciously like release it. Is that an actual thing that
I
happens?
guess it is kind of unconscious. Like you know when it feels right. Like your kind of brain kind of tells you when it feels right. But I feel like for archery, it kind of actually like it's actually like a handicap if you actually don't know when you release, because then you're like your brain builds dependencies and doesn't actually release properly anymore. Yeah, because you don't want to release on accident, but you want to release with like intention. Like you want to release when you know everything in your like control is like in your control and everything's perfect condition, and then you want to release. That way you can get a more perfect shot.
Right. Okay. I'm sure this sport, like any other sport, like requires a lot of like practice and training to like perfect. Would you say it's pretty hard to perfect like archery, or is it one of those things where you can like pick it up and get good at it immediately?
I mean, definitely it varies. Like people are a lot more talented. People just pick it up faster. Um, for me, I picked it up pretty fast, but you still get to a level where there's still a kind of a plateau where you still have to do very specific things, do very specific training to like improve. But there hasn't been many cases where talent really beats time because of, you have to end up just practicing so many like hours just because like the way you shoot is a very you have to shoot very like tight groupings like instead of like a diameter of like I don't know 5 centimeters, you have to like do 1 centimeter like grouping diameters. So like it's very okay. 1 centimeter is like exaggeration, but like okay, you get the point. Yeah. So like getting to that level just requires a lot of time and practice, and like less at that point of like talent.
What's your like favorite bow to shoot? Because I know there's like three different kinds, right?
So I think freshman year I started off with bare bow. That has been my main since like last year, and then I switched over to Olympic recurve, which is more has more like more attachments and stuff on it. That's like the one you see in the Olympics where like all that like attachments and stuff. Bare bow is like more of like the stripped down version of it, where it's like just kind of like the bow itself, but still modern archery where you're using modern equipment compared to like using a wooden bow or something like that. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. But I think it really varies on preference. There's also like the compound bow, yeah, like with all the like gears and like yeah
Right.
pulley system.
The super like tactical
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
one,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
That's like the one you use for hunting, but like it's really just a lot of preference. And I think I stuck with Barebow because initially it was the cheapest because you have to buy the least stuff for it. But then I ended up just buying the most expensive stuff for that. So it was more of just I liked the feel of Barebow because it was more raw.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
felt like less stuff I was like depending on.
So switching gears here a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you ever pursue any other clubs aside from archery?
I think freshman year, that's probably one of my biggest regrets. Like, I only did archery freshman year because I spent so much time with that group of friends I mentioned that like I didn't actually feel the need to kind of get out of my comfort zone, explore more because I spent so much time with them. Like, I was like, that's the bulk of my social life, right? But yeah, I think sophomore year is like when I was like, oh, I need to do other things. I need to like kind of explore more. So yeah, that's basically. I think that's like kind of my main like biggest regret from freshman year.
Do you think it's important that people diversify their friends? I mean, you know, I hear it sometimes where people say I'd rather have like one really good friend than five not really great ones, right? So it's interesting to me that you say that you regret it when you've grown so close to a group of people. Wouldn't you be happy about that?
Mm, I felt I felt like freshman year that the only reason that room group like kind of worked is because that we were all freshmen. So I think coming out of that sophomore year, coming out of freshman year into sophomore year, I already felt like in the first week or so, I like we're not gonna be hanging out as much. Like I already had that kind of like feeling. Yeah. So I was like, because I was like, we're gonna have our own things. All of our classes are starting to like diverge into like our own things. Like it's less opportunity to like take the same classes, be together because we can go eat in the same dining hall together. Like we're in apartments now. We had to go cook for ourselves. I don't think we're gonna spend that much time together anymore. It would be like a once a week thing or maybe like once a month thing. So I felt I was pretty good friends with them already. So I felt like diversifying will not impact my relationship with them unless I did something really drastic. But yeah, so I think sophomore year is when I really wanted to explore more. And the thing about the one friend versus like five not so good friends, I think it kind of varies on what you value because it also depends on what they value. Because I think some of my friends saw freshman spring also tried more diversifying like their friends. So like it was already kind of drifting a little bit. And
Right.
yeah.
Interesting. Uh, so what are you kind of doing to alleviate that now? Like, are there any strategies you're taking up, or how are you, I would say, leveraging that regret or learning from that regret?
So I think sophomore year I kind of like I went for more of a work hard, play hard.
Work hard, play hard,
So
really.
yeah, I joined AAA, Casa. These are like Asian clubs, just like for what like clubs for what, Asian culture, whatever. Yeah. So basically, like I mean, the club itself, they don't really do that much. I felt like it's only because I met a good group of like people to spend time with, and I was like, they have like a big little system. Yeah, so and then I had a big who didn't really want to do the typical big little system, so we did like a big little group. So it was like 10 different littles and then just him. So like it was more just like a group of friends that just wanted to party. Yeah.
So, I mean, what did this look like for you? Are you just like hustling all these like computer science classes all throughout the week, and then at the
Mm.
end of the week you get to like party hard, or like what did that lifestyle kind of look like?
It was very work hard, play hard. I felt like I didn't really want to do work on the weekends. That was just my personal motto. Like I just felt kind of sad to be like doing work on the weekends or studying on the weekends, unless it's a like a test or something coming up. That would make sense. But generally, doing work on the weekends, I didn't want to do. So I really tried to hustle to like finish my work by Friday. But that wasn't just because like I wanted to drink or something. It was just because I wanted to finish it and kind of actually have the weekend to myself. Because I didn't want to be like dictated by school the entire like 7 days of my week.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Do you think it's important to have like an outlet like that? I know like computer science is extremely demanding in terms of what you need for not only industry but also school. How would you describe yourself when you don't take these breaks? Like, would you say you're a lot more like emotional, you're a lot more stressed, or what does that look like?
Mm, in terms of like, if I had to like, if I wasn't able to finish my work and like, yeah, like in the times where I didn't finish my work and I actually had to work over the weekend, I felt like a lot of that was like on me because I know it was doable to finish it in a week. But since I follow like a lot of work hard, play hard type of lifestyle, I I feel like school for me, I don't really like care for, if that makes sense. Like I think school is just a means for me to get my degree and for me to get my job. I don't really care about school in the regard like ever since high school ended, I don't really care about my grades anymore really. Yeah, I just like get decent enough grades to get by, but not like I'm not getting stellar like A's every single class.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I totally understand that. Like I was on the same boat. Like ever since high school, I feel like college has been something that I knew I wouldn't enjoy academically, but ever since coming here, I really enjoy just like the social aspect of it, right? Like everyone's all in one place and there's so many opportunities for you to pursue as a student. How have you found the same to be with you? Like, even though you might not be enjoying the academics so much, have you found opportunity within a space that you really enjoy? Is CS that space that you're trying to pursue, or like, what are you trying to do in the future?
Hmm. I feel like nowadays, like I've shifted towards seeing college as it's not really that much for the degree, it's for the networking. It's because it's a lot of people you meet that you will kind of like get to know and like basically like to really like know later on, and they'll be your people aren't wrong about like they'll be your lifelong friends because those 4 years there, I feel like a lot more connection happens rather than like high school and stuff. Because in high school, I think everyone has their own goals right after college, but in college, everyone has their own goals of getting a job, and generally, I think a lot of people stay in the same area. So I think networking is very important there, just like getting a lot of connections, meeting a lot of people, and I feel like for me, I really value that one more than actually like the the learning is there, but I think that's like the other half of it. Yeah, like learning about your major and stuff and like what classes you take. But yeah, I think I shifted towards valuing that networking connection more because I feel like these are the people I will talk to later in life.
I understand that you talked to me a little bit about how you're going to study abroad. What made you choose that decision?
So I think coming into college, I wanted to study abroad because my cousin, she's like about 5 years older than me, and she studied abroad in Korea. So, and it seems like she had a lot of fun and like it was a very like good experience for her like during her college days. So I felt like I wanted to also experience that. So I came in with the intention of studying abroad.
So, how did you end up studying abroad this semester? Why didn't you? What made you not go maybe like next semester or like sorry, a year from now or during senior year?
Mm, I felt like okay, so for freshman year it doesn't really make sense to study abroad. I feel like you want to enjoy your freshman year. It was either sophomore or junior for me because senior year I kind of want to enjoy my last year here with my friends
Mm-hmm.
or kind of like with the college environment I was coming in with. So it's either junior or sophomore, and it ended up just being junior year because I think it worked better for my classes. It just kind of worked better overall for um like how much time I spend before going to study abroad because I feel like if you go to study abroad too early, you lose out on being able to connect to people early on, and you kind
Mm,
of lose those connections that you could have made.
right.
Because doing it now in the junior year, you already have connections you made throughout your first 2 years as an underclassman, and I feel like now is like a good time to do it before because you can still keep in contact with them. They'll still keep in contact with you, and you won't lose out on much going during this time.
So it's almost like a risk mitigation thing. Like this
Yeah,
is the best time to not lose out on a lot of things.
yeah. Because I feel like your first 2 years here are more important than your last 2 years in terms of your connections. But I would say not so much in your classes because that's when you're taking your upper division classes where you're actually learning more about your major.
I've always wondered how the whole system works when it comes to transferring your credits and whatnot. As like a computer science major, is it pretty easy to transfer those classes that you're getting credit for to study abroad?
Mm. So since I came into college planning this, like I already like it's recommended to do like a 4-year schedule if you're either studying abroad or you're doing a double major. So freshman like fall, I already had like a plan on me studying abroad during junior year. So I actually didn't have a problem with my credits because since I planned it out pretty well, uh right now I only need 3 classes left to graduate.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So senior year is gonna be pretty chill in that regard. So I am actually not taking classes in my study abroad, but rather I'm gonna be doing research.
You're doing research. So
Yeah.
is that what's taking on the brute amount of your time these days? Like, uh, I'm I I'm surprised hearing that you're only 3 classes away from graduating. I mean, you must have quite a bit of time on your hands.
Yeah. Yeah. So the study abroad is gonna be like a research study abroad instead. So I think it just transfers it over as like blank units, but it won't really help me. It's more of just so I haven't done research before, so I felt like this is a good opportunity to see if I do like research, maybe I would go to grad school. But
Oh, really?
yeah, I feel like it's more valuable to do this than actually like take classes
Hmm.
because I don't need to take classes right now, but I think it's varying. I feel like I mean I could have stretched out my years more, stretched out my classes a bit more and took classes abroad instead, but I think just brings better value to like my study abroad experience.
What focus of research are you heading towards?
I want to try out the machine learning,
Machine learning. Jump on the trend,
artificial
right? So
intelligence.
much
Yeah,
of lots of money in
yeah,
that
yeah.
field. That's cool. So where are you studying abroad? I mean, we've been talking about this
Oh yeah,
subject a lot, but I don't think I asked you like, yeah, where are you headed to?
yeah. So I'm gonna be headed to Japan.
Japan.
Yeah.
Why'd you choose Japan?
Uh, I think since like high school, like watch a lot of anime, like typical stuff. But I don't really watch anime much as more. So like, but I really like the culture of Japan. Like, it just seemed
Hmm.
very fun, very different from like what we experience here. And I also like feel like it would be nice to live in Japan for a couple months.
Hmm. Is this something that you researched into, or is it more of just assumptions that you're making about like the cultural differences?
So I mean, a lot of it is liking it because you liked anime at first, right? But I think so. Right before COVID happened, and I think in 2019, I actually went to Japan with my family. It was just like a
Oh,
little,
really?
yeah, it was a little vacation. And when I went there, we were there for like 10 days. It was actually a very like fun experience, like just being able to explore because that was my first time far outside of the country because before that I've never traveled outside like the Americas.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you travel a lot in America?
Yeah, we went on, like road trips and stuff, but like I've never traveled that far out. So this is my first time actually like being abroad. And it was very like there was a lot of culture shocks, but it was like very like fun to see like the different culture of like a different country that's like completely different from what it is in the US.
What are you looking forward to the most
Mm,
in particular?
I think the most thing is food.
Food.
Yeah, because I don't know, the food is just like a lot different, a lot more. I feel like Asian food is more of a more comfortable to me than American food, just because I feel like I've grew up with a lot of it from my own parents, and then just like in general, like whenever like my parents make food, it would be Asian styled, so I would just feel more at home like eating that type of food.
You mentioned earlier on that you're living off campus and you're cooking a lot. Um, have you kind of translated what your parents have been cooking for you into your own dishes? Do you cook a lot of Asian dishes yourself?
Yeah, so I don't. I feel like when I'm at home with myself or in my apartment, like I feel like I'm actually not cooking dishes.
Really?
For me, I'm just cooking like as a means to eat.
Oh no.
Yeah, so so like I would just like have always like have rice on hand or like some type of carbs, and then I would just like I don't know cook up some meat like meat, chicken, I don't know, beef, and then pair that with like some veggies. Like that would be my go-to meal because it takes me like I don't know 20 minutes, pretty easy, pretty fast. I feel like going out of my way to like cook a specific dish or like something in particular like is very time consuming.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I mean, especially in this neighborhood, like grocery stores are extremely far, right? So not it's a huge process, just not only grabbing the groceries, but coming back home, prepping all your ingredients, taking the time to cook, and then eating, and then washing the dishes. There's like I think I just mentioned like probably at least 6 steps that just take hours and hours of your time. And as a college student, that's valuable time. You could be studying or doing something else. That it's just super rough. But some people mention that on this podcast that they really enjoy like traveling and it's given them like a really diverse view. As someone who's like taken some like road trips around the country, like would you say that you've gotten a better understanding of how different things work between the states, or do you have like a diverse perspective?
I think just I don't know. A lot of my traveling was when I was younger, when my parents actually wanted to travel.
Mm-hmm.
But I think kind of high school and middle school, I didn't actually do that much traveling. It was only when I kind of egged my parents on, let's go like go somewhere. Like I like because I think generally I stayed home a lot, and I didn't really do the bulk of my own personal traveling until I reached college, because that's when I actually had my own means of traveling alone. So I feel like, but in terms of like traveling like the US and stuff, it's just interesting to see how people view life differently in terms of like their political beliefs or maybe like societal beliefs. Yeah. Because like I think the last place I traveled pretty far was, I would say, I think I went to New York in the summer, and it was a lot different. Like the big city life, like a lot different from is here, because like people move faster. They have like a lot of people have a goal in mind whenever they're like walking, and you can really see that. Like people are just
Like intent, right?
yeah,
They
like
just
they
like
walk with intent, intent. So I felt like, yeah, that was like a lot different to see. And then the mindset of some people there, like people have like a lot of people have goals in mind. Like they're very like they're seeking stuff out. So like the way you interact with them is a lot different, because they have other intentions besides just talking to you.
interesting.
Yeah.
Would you say it's a lot nicer here?
Mm.
Do you think a lot more people have time to like relax and like enjoy leisure talk?
Yeah, I feel like I think it's California. Like people are more laid back. They have a lot more laid back lifestyle where people aren't in as rush to do things. Like they're yeah, they treat it as like you have a lot of time to do a certain thing, and it's not very I don't know how to word it, but yeah, they're not uh yeah, no, not right.
No.
Yeah,
uh, cool.
yeah.
With that in mind, like, do you have a? Are you going through life with a goal? Like, what's your
Mm,
what's your end goal?
I think I think college has really changed like my idea of like the dream career, or like having like a dream goal in mind. I think for me, I've transitioned to more of a fact of college will get me a degree. It will help me find a job, and my goal is to just get a high paying job that will satisfy me, make me live comfortably. But at the end of the day, I don't really care about that job, because I just want it as a means to live, and then I can do my own hobbies, do my own like pursuits, rather than having my career be my passion.
Would you do you hold the belief that as long as you're passionate about something, as long as you're extremely good at it, like the money comes in? Like, are you not worried about that at all? Are you? Would you consider yourself to have like an entrepreneurial mindset?
Mm. I feel like just believing that, but just believing or being passionate about your career or whatnot. I feel like that's not enough to bring in money. You have to be kind of realistic about it, because like, well, not to diss anyone, but like being just passionate in music or like art or something like that won't bring you in money. You have to like be more. creative about it, because like just pursuing like fine arts or just pursuing like let's do orchestra only, the only way that would work is if you're the best of the best. And like generally for most people, you won't be the best of the best. So if you want, you have to be more creative about it, in which that you can apply it differently. For like art, you can do animation, which is a lot more, I think, employable and would actually get you higher like success of getting a like a good job. And in music, maybe like production or something of the sorts. I feel like yeah, the you can't just be passionate about it. You have to be able to be flexible with your passion in order to make it into a dream career.
Hmm. So what would be the best case scenario for you if the world gave you everything you ever wanted, you know, like everything just works out for you? What would you want to put yourself in?
Mm. Well, like I said again, I don't really see like I'm not very passionate about computer science. So it's more of a fact that it's just a means for me to make money. And my hobbies are what I actually enjoy doing, or like spending time with my friends and stuff. I think in terms of my hobbies, they're not very they're not as flexible in terms of that sense. Like archery, for instance, is not very flexible in what you can do in terms of the like employability aspect of it that I just mentioned. It does vary depending on your major. You might have to just relegate certain passions to just being a like a hobby instead of making it like a career oriented. Because for me, I don't see how archery can ever be like employable unless you're like a top athlete.
So you're just trying to focus on being able to have like stable income right now, and hopefully in the future when you find that one thing you're gonna try to pursue. Is that am I getting that right?
Hmm. Yeah. I would definitely want to pursue something if I find it later on. Yeah, but yeah, definitely right now, I don't think I have any particular passion that I want to pursue as a career.
Hmm. Do you find that to be like alarming to you at all? Like, do you ever feel um, insecure about it? You know, because I feel like a lot of people on campus, like they have a prime directive, right? They know
Yeah.
exactly what they want.
I feel like I've never been really of a go-getter. Like I've never had a certain goal in mind, or like a certain like yeah, a certain goal in mind that like would want to transform my entire life around it. It could just be I haven't found it yet,
Right.
or I just my like attitude towards my like life, because like even in high school too, I felt like I didn't try that hard. I kind of just got by. Like I would do well enough just to get like an A in my classes. I'll be like, okay, this will be good enough to get into to college, because even in high school, I didn't join that many clubs. It was a lot of just like go straight home right after class and just go on my computer and play games. So I think it's a combination of both. Maybe we'll see in the future if I actually find something I really want to like pursue in life. But yeah.
Do you navigate like I'm curious how you navigate life then if you don't have a goal. Like, do you just stick to certain values that everything will like work out, or what would you how would you describe your mindset?
Yeah, right now I'm my current goal really is to get a nice high paying job. I guess right now, yeah, my goals are oriented towards that, in which like I navigate life in towards of like as in respect, like if I don't get a job or get like this job like after college, I would have to find something else. But it would be very difficult on me later on if I don't have something secured right after college.
Okay.
But yeah, in terms of things I want to do after though, I think my other current goals are just like to travel around a lot more. Like I want to explore Europe. I want to explore Asia. Like I want to do things that I feel like I want to explore like parts of the world that you don't usually get to do before you're like settled down and stuff.
Why do you think that settling down means you can't travel anymore?
I mean, it's like kind of it depends on your job. It depends on your family circumstances and such. But I feel like when you settle down, you have like a home base of operations, and especially if you get married later on, you're kind of more tied to that like home base, and it makes it harder for you to leave or like go around. And especially when you have kids, then you have to really stay because you have to take care of them.
Right.
Yeah, but
Are you planning to reproduce,
in the
so to
future,
say?
currently not on my mind. Yeah, we'll see about that. I don't even have a girlfriend, so
It'll come soon.
yeah.
It'll come soon.
So I feel like marriage is like way off. It's like not even like on my like current goals of as of now. Like, there's no point of thinking about it if I don't have anything to go off of right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting take. All right. Well, kind of going into the closing section of this podcast, we have a tradition where the last guest asks the next guest a question without knowing who they are. And from what I remember, your question is pretty unique. So, oh my, okay. Would you rather have wet the bed every situationship, or not wet the bed but have a like mid-tier relationship throughout the entirety of your life? So every situationship you have, you wet the bed, you have an incident, or you don't wet the bed, but the threshold for how good of the relationship is lower. The achievable relationship is lower.
But that's every situationship. So does that mean like you can still have a normal relationship after?
I don't know.
It's not very clear on that.
Right. I think I would interpret it as any date you have, I guess, or any time.
Any not official stuff before.
I guess so, yeah.
Interesting. Well, I feel like I'll do the second one because then the first one will never yield any like good relationship.
So you think like the wetting the bed will never like get you further than that point?
Yeah, I feel like that's just like the deal breaker there.
Yeah.
Unless you have some weird person, but like
That could be interesting. Can you imagine that? Like just having to do that?
it's like, oh damn, I have to wash the sheets
I
again.
know. That'd be pretty rough. Even if I was like, if my situationship partner did that, it's like, oh, might be over. But yeah, continuing on with the tradition.
Yeah.
What would be a question you want to ask the next guest?
Have a lot of these questions been like, would you rather, or like?
No. This is the only would you rather.
Okay. What was your favorite drunk experience here at college?
That would be an interesting one.
Most memorable or like most favorite? Yeah.
Most memorable, most favorite.
Yeah.
story.
Drunk experience. Drunk story. Yeah.
All right. I'll make sure to pass that along. Well, thank you so much, Ty, for taking the time out today and talking about your experiences.
Yeah, it was very nice talking to you.